Well, the work in the gallery today is all from the 1990s, which is quite a long while ago already. And it was an interesting project, digging out the work, borrowing back from collectors, finding things that I'd forgotten about, and ordering them into some way throughout the decade. And that's how the exhibition has been laid out in a progression to show how the work was made. The things are a compendium of different types of craft. They're all two-dimensional. I've never been interested in three-dimensional things. They're mostly on paper. They're nearly all small format. Most of them are bookish. They fold up and go into a book. I've never considered myself a painter. So there's a strong craft element, a conceptual craft element in the work. In 1997, I made this big piece of work. I was 50, and I made this big piece of work looking back at the people in my life who I considered had been important to me. And to illustrate that, I chose images of these Chinese bai discs, circular discs. They're found in Neolithic burial sites next to bodies. And so I chose one of those for each person, to represent each person. And the title of the work is called The Moons of Jupiter. And there are 16 moons of Jupiter. And underneath the discs, I wrote the names of the moons in Jupiter. These are all female names from Greek mythology. They're female because of the lunar connection with feminine and the fact that they're moons of Jupiter. And underneath each of that, I wrote underneath is the name in Greek of the person who was important to me. The story is a well-known story, the Conference of the Birds. The birds of the world who represent human archetypes go in search of their king, the sea morgue. And at the end of the perilous journey over the seven valleys, only 30 birds survive. And that's that pun is the crux of the story, where sea morgue, the name of their king, means 30 birds in Farsi. Sea, 30, and morgue, birds. So at the end of the tale, which is what several of these pieces show, are the birds coming face to face with themselves. And at the same time, I'd also been studying concrete poetry, where the image is made up of the text itself, where the words themselves are the image. And one of the forerunners of concrete poetry is this Arabic zoomorphic calligraphy, where the animal shapes make up the word. And I collected together 30 examples of this zoomorphic calligraphy and cut them into blocks. So in my mind, there was a very simple progression between collecting the zoomorphic images and cutting the blocks and using them to illustrate the story. At the entrance to the gallery, hanging in the window, are 25 pages that are hung in groups of 5. At the top of each one is the basic shape: triangle, circle, egg shape, square, and moon shape. These are called the tatwas, which is an Indian word that means thatness. For me, the interest is that they're basic shapes. It's the same theory that I've been talking throughout, the platonic solids, the simple elemental shapes in life. These are venerated in Hindu tantric metaphysics, where they're considered to be essential. They're considered to be the basis for everything that exists. I made them from paper that I made myself. I found in the gutter in Charing Cross Road a book thrown out, The Life and Works of Horace Walpole. I tore the book up, mashed up all the paper, and made the 25 sheets of paper. So the idea is that it's something being used for something else. It's going on to make something else.